So it's been so we had a good practice yesterday, and then that led right into really a lot of evaluations last night. I'd say Joe and his staff were here pretty late last night. I know the coaches have done a lot of work with some of the guys that were released. I think it's out there. We've claimed 4 players, so that means we need to make some decisions relative to putting some guys on IR, and Joe and his staff right now are in the process of taking care of all that stuff. In terms of practice squad and stuff like that, I'm going to go see Joe right after this, so that's kind of a fluid deal right there.
You don't have to cut guys before you put the other guys on IR?
Yeah, there's like you got to do a couple little things there, but really it's going to end up being the 3 IR guys. We're going to put 3 guys on IR.
Those are Shane, Rodarius, and Ellerson.
It is. Yep.
How tough of a blow is that for Shane? I mean, to lose him, it's at least 8 games, right?
Yeah. Well, he's pretty resilient. You know, unfortunately, he's been through it once, but he's in good spirits, and so he'll work back. He's been already rehabbing, and he'll be back as soon as he can.
Who starts in the opener at left guard?
We're worried about today's practice. Getting better today.
Is he ramping up, Coach? Is he getting close?
He's getting better. Yeah. Yep.
Who are your left guards, though? Who's in that? Like, who will we see in that spot next week or 2?
Let's see until we finalize the roster to give you a better answer.
One of the guys, one of the guys was the safety Pinnock from the Jets. You obviously saw a little bit of him here. What'd you guys like about him?
You know, he's good on teams. You know, he had some good film out there. You know, he played in the deep part of the field. We practiced against him. We played against him. You know, he has some redeeming qualities and traits that when the guys watched him in the scouting department and our coaches, you know, thought it'd be a good claim.
Clearly, the secondary and the depth of the secondary was something you guys thought you needed to address significantly here. You picked up 3 guys there.
Yep.
How concerning is that to you? That, you know, you have to bring in 3 guys in those spots and get them ready in, 10 days, 11 days?
Much like we talked about yesterday, too, that's the nature of being in the NFL and being a coach. You know, sometimes you get guys on a Wednesday, work guys out on a Tuesday, got to get them ready to play. So we have a little bit more time here than you normally would have if you just pick somebody up or sign somebody on a Tuesday or Wednesday to get them ready to play. So that's what we're doing.
Like so many guys have one position group.
Yeah. It's really not. I mean, they can handle it. Most of these guys are pros and can handle it. You just stay with them a little bit longer and meet and you know, get them ready.
What kind of a player was Pinnock to game plan against last year?
I just think he has good traits that we're looking for. Got some good speed, some size, can play in the kicking game. So, you know, we'll get him here and see what he can do in our system.
Brian, with your 3 IR guys, is there a chance with all 3 that they could return this season, or any of those season enders?
No, I think there's a chance. Yep.
Solid obviously was very high, and I didn't want to let him go, but they were obviously pretty full there. Do you ever talk to him about that? I mean, when you're doing practice or anything like that, or
about that particular player?
I mean,
no, I didn't.
You know, I don't know. I know that's really not
normal
protocol, but you guys are a little bit friendly. So
yeah, no, I didn't. I just think, look, our scouting department and the guys upstairs with Joe and Brandon and you know, all those guys, they were fortunately got some late night food that I had to partake in a little bit, but they stayed a lot longer than I did, and they've done, you know, done a great job with evaluating the players that are out there, and you know, done a lot of work on those guys, and then giving the coaches some guys to look at. So it's been a good process for the first time that I've been through it.
You had Jack Anderson in Buffalo last year. What do you like about him? Is he a guard, center, both?
Yeah, he played a little bit both for us. Smart, you know, he got claimed by Philadelphia, so you know, didn't want to lose him. You know, I remember didn't want to lose him, but you know, he had an opportunity to go and get claimed, and you know, looking forward to working with him again. He's, you know, can play inside either spot and can play center too.
This is pretty much for the most part. A couple moves here or there. The roster you're going to have for week 1. This is your first year as a head coach.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make at the totality of your roster at this point?
Well, I'd say it's still kind of a fluid situation. There's always decisions that can be made, but the guys that we have out here, they've all earned a spot, and then you can only take 46 to a game, so we'll have to decide that next. But all the guys that we have here, we have confidence in that made the team.
Babes, I know you got plenty of time between now and September 11th, but what is Kadarius' situation right now? Is he
improving? Yeah, he's improving.
Do you have any question about him for week 1 at all, or?
I'm just taking it day by day. I thought yesterday he came out and practiced and had a pretty good practice. I think he's getting better. Hopefully we'll be ready to go.
And he's doing everything in practice, not limited in any way.
Yeah, I mean we've given him we've kind of ramped him up as we went the last few weeks and given him more and more reps. So hopefully he'll be ready.
Brian, does the 3 guys going on IR mean you only have to cut 1, or do you have to cut 4 right now to make room for the 4?
Yeah, no, we'll do those 3 guys. I mean, there's other things that go along with it, but it'll be those 3 guys, and then Joe right now just actually gave me a call right before I got out here. I'm going to go up there and see him or call him right after this.
Oh, right now.
Yeah, I put him on FaceTime so you guys can. There you go.
How much has your familiarity with Joe helped you through training camp process, through these last few days? And what's the advantage do you think of that you did know each other?
Well, the familiarity, and we've worked together before. We have a good relationship. I'd say we have a good working relationship too. I know what's he expecting on our end. He kind of knows what to expect from the coaching staff. I'd say there's a lot of good give and take. We're in constant communication. We try to leave no stone unturned, and that way I think as an organization it's pretty smooth relative to it's how we structure practice, how we look at free agents, what we did in the draft. I mean, all the stuff that we've done up to this point. It's good collaboration, and I'd say good organization.
Was any of the stuff you talked about stuff that you had talked about not knowing you'd be in this position when you were in Buffalo?
Like
not players obviously, but like just situations. Did any of those things arise that you said, "Hey, we used to talk about this when we weren't in these positions"?
Yeah, we're not there yet. We're just each day something else pops up, and we try to handle it the best way we can, and I think there's really good give and take, a lot of mutual respect. I think he does a fantastic job of leading the scouting department and the support staffs, and him and I, again, we have really good conversations about everything. It doesn't necessarily mean you always have to agree, but there's really good communication on both of our ends, I think.
Have you had any good disagreements?
No, not no.
Are you expecting to have Dean on the field in week 1? He looked good yesterday.
Hopeful.
How do you view the practice squad as connecting with the veterans there? Is that where you want to develop guys, or is that where you want the next guy up at position? Like, how do you balance that?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think a little bit of both. You always want guys that you can, if you need them or something happens, somebody gets sick, or that you can put right on and they're ready to go. But you're also trying to develop your team for the long run too. So do what you need to do now, but have good young players that you can work with and develop, and have skill sets that you covet. And that's a constant thing. You see probably a bunch of workouts most Tuesdays here to see who can upgrade us or switch a guy in, switch a guy out. But I think you need the way it's set up now, it's good to have both.
I know you don't have the full list of your practice squad before you talk to Joe and figure out everything, but do you expect you might have some guys from the practice squad out of practice today?
That is the plan, yeah. Now, who that is right now, I mean, there's a list. I saw, we've had a lot of conversations with, some of the guys that we released, and, some guys we've pinpointed here, but I'll go talk to Joe and see, but hopefully, that's why I kind of pushed practice back a little bit too, so all these time frames of when things are coming out and when we can get guys on the field so we can have more guys out at practice.
How's Kayvon doing? And is he getting closer to getting on the field?
Yeah, day to day, both those guys, I'd say him and Z's are rehabbing, doing a good job, and getting better each day.
They doing any running at this point?
Whatever the rehab is, whatever the rehab is. I mean, I'll talk to Ronnie about. They're getting better. I know that. So.